Hello everybody, welcome back to the maths questions. Sorry the lighting's a little bit worse, I'm actually filming this one when it's dark outside. Now we've reached day 14 of the problems of the day, which is beyond the original set I had emailed out to my maths class from school. So do make sure you're remembering to pause this video, look at the questions, have a go yourself first, then press play and come through the answers with me. Okay, so let's get started then with our orange questions of the day. So we're going to start with question 1 here, looking for how many of these are equal to 15. Well, let's have a think about what we know about the signs in some of these. We've got an addition, subtraction, another addition. Okay, well, when we do 10 plus 5, is that going to be equal to 15? We could just do the calculation, 10, and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hops on the number line to realise that 10 plus 5 does in fact equal 15. But we could also use our place value knowledge to think of that one. We have 1 10 and we have 5 1s. So just putting them together in the right column tells us that that is correct. So the first one, 10 plus 5, is equal to 15. What about the second one? 5 plus 5 plus 5. So another way of saying that one is 3 lots of 5. So we could do 5, add another 5 on, and add another 5 on. Or we could count in 5s using our 5 times table. 5, 10, 15. So 5 plus 5 plus 5 is also equal to 15. Now the next one swaps our operation or our calculation round, so we've now got a subtraction. So 20 minus 5. So this time we're counting back 5 hops on the number line. So if we start at 20, go 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. So that one also is equal to 15. We think about our number bonds there, that if we're taking a whole 10 minus a 5, 5 and 5 go together. And then lastly, we have 1 plus 5. Now we need to remember that that plus or that addition sign means added onto and not just written next to each other. So if I start with 1 and I give myself 5 more, I have to think how many I've got in total now. And if we count or do our addition, I have 6. So 1 plus 5, although it has the right digits, they are not in the right place value columns. So 1 plus 5 does not equal 15. So 3 are equal to, 1 is not. Okay, question 2. We have a rope measuring 30 meters. The rope is cut into 10 equal size pieces. So here's our rope that measures 30 meters, and it is cut into 10 equal size pieces. What is the total length of 5 of these pieces? Well, let's show it first of all. Really important word in there is that it's 10 equal size pieces. And we know, don't we, that that means they are all the same size. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have now cut my rope into 10 equal pieces. And I want to know what the length of 5 of those are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to know the length of 5 of them. Now we've labelled up everything we know on our diagram. What could we do to get closer to our missing number? Well, if my whole rope is 30 meters and it's split into 10 equal parts, we know that we're sharing our 30 by 10 to see how many are in each group. So if we do 30 divided by 10, think about counting in tens if it's easier. That will tell you that each one of these sections, each piece of rope, is 3 meters long. So I filled in every box, because if one box is 3, all of them are 3. Well, next, I want to know how long 5 pieces of the rope are together. So I'm going to take these 5. So I could do 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Or we know that this is 5 lots of 3. So if I do my 5 times table, 5, 10, 15, or my 3 times table, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, I know that 5 pieces of the rope equal 15 meters. Now, we took that through every step. So we worked out what each of the 10 pieces was in length, and then what 5 of those pieces were together. But let's think about what we know here. We cut the rope into 10 pieces. So if we think about our fractions, 10 goes on the bottom, and we wanted 5 of them. So we wanted 5/10. Some of you might straight away recognize that there's an equivalent fraction to this, we know. Well, a common factor of both 5 and 10 is 5. They're both in the 5 times table. So I could make 5/10 into its equivalent 1/2 by dividing the top and the bottom by 5. 5/10 is equivalent to 1/2. So actually we were looking for half of the rope. So half of 30 is 15. So it doesn't matter which way you do it. Split it into 10 and then times it by 5, or just find a half. Okay, that's question 2 done. Let's have a look at orange question 3. We've got Danny here. Danny has 2 boxes of sweets. And we can see from the diagram that each box has got a label on saying 40 sweets. He puts the sweets in smaller bags. There are 5 in each bag. So how many bags can Danny fill using all of his sweets? Okay, so let's think about this. If we look at it 1 box at a time, I could draw that box out and say that it represents 40 sweets. And if I want to, because I know we got 2 of them, I'm just going to repeat that bar over here. Okay, so labeled up my boxes. I've got a box of 40 sweets and another box of 40 sweets. Then I split that into bags of 5 sweets. But I need to know how many bags of 5. Well, let's think about this. I'm not putting it into 5 groups. I'm putting it into groups that have 5 in it. So I could label up my bar with a block of 5. But I need to count in 5s as I go to make sure I stop at 40. So I'm going to have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So now I've got my equal groups of 5. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So some of you might have known your 5 times table and know that 8 lots of 5 is 40. So he can make 8 bags from 1 box, but he doesn't just have 1 box, he has another. So he's got 2 boxes. So he can make 8 bags from the first box. He can also make 8 bags from the second box. So what is our final step? What do we have to do with our 2 lots of 8 to see how many bags he filled in total? That's right, add them together or do 8 times 2. So Danny managed to fill 16 bags. Brilliant. We could have straight away added our 40 and 40 to get 80 and split 80 into 5s, but it's easier to do 5s into 40 than it is 80. 16 bags is your answer. Okay, well done. So that is the orange questions for day 14 done. Let's have a look at the blue questions. Okay, first of all, we have to circle all numbers that are equivalent to 0.25. So let's think about our place value columns. You have your tens, your ones, your decimal point, then it's tenths, hundredths. We could go on to thousands if we wanted. So we want 0.25. So if we think about our place value columns, we have 0 ones, 2 tenths and 5 hundredths. But we have 0 ones, so our number is less than 1 whole. Well, first of all, if I put in the 0.4 to do a comparison, 0.4, we can already see these are both in decimal format. And if we look here, they both have no ones, but this has 2 tenths and this has 4 tenths. So straight away, our numbers are different. So 0.4 is not equivalent. Okay, what about 50 hundredths? Well, our place value columns are called tenths and hundredths. So we can actually convert this one straight into a decimal. So we just make sure we line them up in the right columns to say we have 50 out of our hundredths. Now, when we go after the decimal point, if we have a 0 at the end of our number, it doesn't actually mean anything. It doesn't make it any bigger. So we could just write this one as 0.5. Now, that might ring a bell for some of you that you know what fraction that is equivalent to. And if we go back to our original 50 hundredths, that is equivalent to a half. This is midway between 0 and 1, 50 hundredths. So we can see straight away by comparing the tenths column, this is also not equivalent. Okay, 25 hundredths. So if I write that out in the right place, we can see here that we do have a match. So 25 hundredths is the same as 0.25 because we can see our columns. Now the last one we have is 1/4. Now to convert that into a decimal to be able to compare, I need to think what I know about a quarter. Well, to be able to convert it into a decimal easily, I would quite like it to be a fraction over 100. Now, at the moment, the fraction is over 4. So we need to think, what do we do to 4 to turn it into 100? Well, I know that 10 lots of 4 is 40. So 20 lots of 4 must be 80. So it's got to be more than 20. Okay, between 80 and 100, I have 20 left. And 5 lots of 4 make 20. So I had 20 lots to 80. I had 5 lots to my 20. Put them together, I have times it by 25. Now, what's our rule? Whatever we do to the bottom of a fraction, we must do to the top. So we had 1/4. We're going to do 1 times 25, which is 25. And we end up with the equivalent fraction we just had, 25 hundredths, which we know we can write as 0.25. So 1/4 is also equivalent to 0.25. Now, this is one of those decimals and fraction conversions you will be asked to remember. If we think about the other one we knew, 0.5 was the equivalent to a half, because if we think it's 100 divided by 2 is 50, or 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. If we want to go to a quarter, we just half again, because dividing by 4 is like dividing by 2 and dividing by 2 again. And if you half 50, you get 25. So if you half 0.5, you get 0.25. So 25 hundredths and 1/4 are your correct answers there. Okay, moving on now to question 2. We have a rope that measures 2.8 meters. The rope is cut into 10 equal sized pieces. What is the total length of 5 of these pieces? Now, if you've been watching the whole video, although the length of the rope has changed, you might recognize the quick cheat we could do to get to the answer here. So here is our rope that is 2.8 meters long. It has been cut into 10 equal pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make sure I've got it right. It's been cut into 10 equal pieces. And we want the length of 5 of them. Okay, so hopefully the visual is reminding you that perhaps we don't have to work out what one piece is and then times it by 5, because again, we want 5/10, which has an equivalent fraction of a half. We want half of the original rope. Now, dividing 2.8 by 2 is a lot easier than dividing it by 10 and then timesing it by 5. So, if we partition it, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So let me write this out over here. And 0.8 divided by 2 is 0.4. So half of 2.8 is 1.4. If you did want to work it out the long way round, it's a really good way to practice your multiplying and dividing by 10, 100 or 1,000, which is where we move our numbers left and right on the place value. So if we wanted to divide 2.8 meters by 10 to figure out what one block is worth, think about which way it's going to move. We are going to move our 2 or shift our 2 and our 8 one place value column to the right, or we're going to shift our decimal point one place to the left, and that would give you 0.28. So each little bit of rope is 0.28 meters. And an extra question for you then, what's that in centimeters? 0.28 meters. Well, how many centimeters are in a meter? 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So 0.28 meters equals 28 centimeters. Always good to try and work out everything you can work out from the question, even if it wasn't, or from the visuals, even if it wasn't particularly what the question asked you. Okay, last question for day 14 then. We're back with Danny and his sweets, but his boxes are a lot bigger this time. So sweets come in box of 600 this time, and Danny has 2 of these boxes. He packs the sweets into smaller bags, and there are 21 in each bag. So how many bags can Danny fill using all of the sweets? Okay, so let's draw this out visually again. We've got one box here, which has 600 sweets in, and we've got another box the same size, which has 600 sweets in. So straight away, before labeling anything else, we could add a label for all of our sweets, couldn't we? Could do 600 plus 600. To make this easier, we're going to do 6 plus 6, which is 12. And then remember that we need to times our answer by 100, or shift our digits 2 place value columns to the left to give us 1,200. Okay, so we've got 1,200 sweets, and then we put them into bags of 21 sweets each. So how many bags can we fill up? So we could do it like I did before, where I do one group that's 21 and I keep counting up, but I think I might run out of room for my drawing, and counting up in 21s until I get to 600 or until I get to 1,200 could take me a while. So I'm going to think about doing it in bigger chunks that I know. Well, I know if I did 10 lots of 21, because I'm shifting my numbers one place value column to the left and filling the gap with a 0, 21 times 10 is 210. Now I'm trying to make it up to 600, so I know I've got lots more room than 210. In fact, I do another lot of 10. So if I do 21 times 20, it's going to be double that, isn't it? 420. Okay, 420. So I've still got room. But if I go a whole nother lot of 10, so if I did 21 times 30, I've got to add another 210 on. I get to 630. So I don't actually have room for 30 groups in one box of sweets, do I? If I went down from 30, if I went to 29 groups, I'd have to take one lot of 21 off. So I've got 630 and I take 21 off. Take 20 off is 610. Take 1 off, 609. So 21 times 29 is 609. It's still a little bit big. I'm going to have to take another lot off. I'm going to have to try doing 21 times 28. So 21 times 28 will be another 21 off. I'll take 9 off to get back to 600. And then that leaves me with 12 more to take off. So 590, 588. So 588 is as close as I can get to my 600 without going over, and it was 28 lots. So I'm going to say that I have 28 pieces in here that each have 21 sweets in. And if I have 28 pieces in this side, remembering that I then had 12 sweets left over, didn't I? I can also fit 28 in this side with 12 sweets left. So 28 bags from each box, 12 sweets left. So what is 28 plus 28 first of all? How many bags have I managed to fill? So 28 plus 20 is 48, plus another 8 is 56. So I filled 56 bags, but I have 12 sweets left from this box and 12 sweets left from this box. How many sweets do I have left altogether? Well, 12 plus 12 is 24 left. So if I have 24 left, and I can fit 21 in a bag, have I got enough to make a whole nother bag? I do. So I now have 57 bags, and because I've taken 21 of those 24, I only have 3 sweets left. So 57 bags, 3 sweets left. So it's all about figuring out how many groups of 21 we could make. But I wanted us to practice it using our mental maths of timesing by 10 or multiples of 10. Okay, and that is day 14 questions done. So really well done if you managed to get to some of those answers before I went through them. Make sure, if not, that you pause, look at your question and try and follow along with what it is that I'm doing. And I will be back for day 15 very, very soon. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye-bye.